Pre-construction owners who are opting to close on their contracts are losing up to 30% of their unit's value on their units upfront. One-bedroom unit owners are losing upwards of $225,000. Two-bedroom unit owners are losing up to $285,000. And three-bedroom owners are losing $360,000. Yeah. By now, it's no surprise that the majority of pre-construction condos closing are underwater. In addition to their initial deposits, pre-construction owners are having to fork out another 10% of cash as a result of appraisals being under what they bought it for. Finding a way to come up with an additional large sum of money is already challenging enough, let alone closing on the units and facing enormous carry costs and having negative cash flow on the condo. It's bad news in every direction for most pre-construction owners. And in this episode of Prime Properties TV, I'll be walking through a pre-construction project's number and just how much a pre-construction owner would lose if they close on their unit. Or on the flip side, how much money they would lose by walking away strategically. But keep in mind, developers can and will likely sue you and go after your assets if you choose to default. So if you have other properties, meaning your primary home, you're at even more risk. So be sure to keep watching as I dive deeper into this topic and into the numbers and explore various options for pre-construction owners. Hi, my name is Zen, and if you're enjoying my data-driven and number-crunching real estate updates, be sure to like and subscribe. Everyone already knows most pre-construction owners who are closing this year will be losing money. The question I'm being asked a lot and why I'm making this video is just how much money are they going to lose if I'm going to walk away? And this is the example I'm going to go through with you today. We're going to be seeing the largest amount of underwater pre-construction closing this year and some of the largest value gaps between like what they bought for and what it's worth this year, because completions this year were brought at the tippy peak at the market, on top of paying a premium on top of that because they bought pre-construction over resale. So pre-construction owners who would have bought like the tippy top of the market right now would have bought like a one bedroom for like $750,000. So this is like your $1,600 a square foot on like 460-ish, 470 square foot junior one bedroom. And down the street right now at like $1,100 a foot, it's maybe worth like $525 or so, which means that you're gonna have a gap in value or appraisal gap of $750 minus $525, which is a gap of $225,000, which is a lot of money. And they would have put in 20% of their $750, which is $150, but you can see that even the deposit doesn't cover the appraisal gap. That's a huge problem, which means they have to put out another $75,000 just to close. That's what I'm saying. By closing, you're automatically losing money because you basically bought it for this. You have to add in 75 just to close on this value. So here's how the percentages work out. So let's say it's worth 100% right now at current market value. A lot of pre-construction owners would have paid 30% over market, maybe 40%, depending on what project they bought it at, which means that they have a 30% appraisal gap. Their deposit is 20%. And they're still under by 10% before all the closing costs. And this is why a lot of people are choosing to strategically default, because coming up with another 10% to close could be very hard. And now when you apply these percentages to a two bedroom, right, to like $950,000 purchase, put to like a high 600 square feet two bedroom, it's worth maybe like $665 right now. So they're under by $285, or they have to put in another $95,000. And obviously as a percentage, you know, it's the same, but when you get into larger, more expensive units at $1.2 million, it's worth $840. You have to put in an extra $120. So that's why a lot of people who are having these vintages of pre-construction condos that are closing that overpaid by like 25, 30, 35% are going to have a really hard time this year. Hey, it's me interrupting myself. Ready to make a move? Just one free call, no hassle, put decades of experience to work for you. So the current problem lies in the fact that a lot of buyers, when they close, they will immediately lose 10% on paper. This is before any closing costs, which can be upwards of like 6% of the value in Toronto. Then the hope is that the market will rebound so that they may break even when they sell. But that could be a very long time. So let's go through the math. Let's assume your appreciation is like 5% for the next few years, which honestly I think is very high for how much unsold inventory there is in the condo space right now. So that means you would need 6 years to sell for the price you bought it for. And then at that time, you have to add in the fact that there's closing costs, approximately 5-6%, and selling costs of another 5% or so. So you're looking on adding another 2 years to really break even. So in like a high hopeful and like optimistic scenario, you're looking at 8 years to break even. It's 2025 right now. So you're looking at 2033. Yeah, it's pretty bad if you ask me. And this is why a lot of people are really starting to question whether they should strategically default and risk getting sued. They're looking at losing their deposits and paying damages, whatever that may end up costing, because at the very least, the cost isn't immediate, whereas closing is. It's a really peculiar situation for a lot of these pre-construction buyers. And even the bigger challenge for a lot of these pre-construction buyers is that if they have assets that can be forced to liquidate to cover these damages. An example is like if someone used a line of credit on their primary home, like a HELOC, to buy one of these pre-construction condos, or they have other properties they've invested in before. That's going to be an absolute disaster. So if you think you're caught in a situation like this, make sure you book a call with me using the link that's on the screen right here to really chat about the options you have, since everyone's personal financial situation is different. Now, one of the solutions to prevent an immediate cash output disaster that I was talking about in this video is the use of a blanket appraisal on these pre-construction closings this year and in 2026. And to learn more about what this blanket appraisal is, make sure you check out this video over here where I discuss the disaster that is blanket appraisals and how it's just kicking the can down the road. But it does give you, as a pre-construction buyer, if you're in this situation, a lifeline temporarily. And I'll see you in the next episode. And remember, your move, your future. See ya.